Welcome back to the 2 Minute Warning. Today I'm looking at whether or not I think the Indianapolis Colts should trade for wide receiver Julio Jones. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing. What do you think Julio Jones' trade value is worth? Is he worth a first round pick, second round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick, whatever you think it is? Comment it down below because I still think it's up for debate. But getting straight into it, Indianapolis Colts, this is a team that we know is willing to be aggressive, go out there and get what they want. They did it for Carson Wentz. And to me, why not keep the tracks on going? Because this Colts team, I do seriously think, is a Super Bowl dark horse team. I feel like not enough people are talking about the Indianapolis Colts. I truly think Carson Wentz with this brand new team, Julio Jones or not, is going to have a much better year than he did in Philly. Last time Carson Wentz was the most successful he ever was in 2017 when he had this MVP type of season, and Frank Reich at the time was the Eagles offensive coordinator. After that season, Frank Reich left the Philadelphia Eagles and is now the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and now Carson Wentz is paired back up with Frank Reich. I just think everything is getting better for Carson Wentz. His coach got better. His offensive line has gotten much better compared to the Eagles. The run game he has to rely on has gotten much better compared to the Eagles, and the receiving core is better compared to the Eagles, and that's not even with Julio Jones. Looking at the defense, he has a great defense to rely on between Darius Leonard, DeForest Buckner, Xavier Rhodes, Kenny Moore. Defense is set, backfield is set, offensive line is set, quarterback is set, receiving core, let's fix it up a little bit. And the receiving core isn't bad. I think Michael Pittman Jr. is going to take a big step forward. They brought T.Y. Hilton back. You got Paris Campbell. You got Zach Pascal, reliable Jack Doyle. But Julio Jones is not going to hurt the Colts by any means. And, of course, it comes down to what is the Falcons asking for, If they want a first-round pick, that's probably not going to happen. The Colts gave up for Carson Wentz a second-round conventional pick. And I think the contingency was if Carson Wentz plays 75% of his snaps, that turns into a first-round pick. So realistically or ideally for the Colts, they hope Carson Wentz plays 75% of the snaps. They might not even have a first-round pick next year. So therefore, they don't have that to get up and give up. And Julio Jones might not even be worth the first anymore. But if they're looking for a day 2 pick of a second-round pick or maybe a third and fifth paired up, whatever the Falcons are looking for, I think the Colts should be aggressive. Like I said, what do you have that you're not Super Bowl ready? You have the quarterback, assuming Carson Wentz is going to take a step forward. Do I think he's going to be this all of a sudden top 5 quarterback in the league? No. But do I think he's going to improve and put his name back on the map and become walk-and-talker once again? Yes, I do. I just think everything around him has gotten better. And he has raw skill and talent. It just has to be organized in the right way. And I think Frank Reich and the Colts players can do that. And Julio Jones being on a Colts team the good thing for Julio is they don't need him to be what Julio Jones is in, be the face of the NFL, as in the best receiver in the league. This is on a receiving core and an offense that is extremely run-centric to where Julio Jones doesn't really have to carry the offense and obviously they want him to be a receiver that is capable of doing that, but Julio Jones, a guy that's getting up there in age, has some injuries. The load, he doesn't have to carry the team like he has done with the past with the Atlanta Falcons or the Colts on a run-centric offense with emerging Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, Marlon Mack. Julio Jones doesn't need to be that, and I think that's intriguing for him. 17 games a year, Colts and Julio Jones, they might not need him to play 17 games. It doesn't mean they want him to sit out, but if the time comes, he's just not feeling it. He's got a sore hammy, which is always an issue for him, or his ankle's messed up, whatever it is. They can afford to not need him, and that is why I like this Colts team, because they're already on the verge or on the cliff of becoming a Super Bowl team, but Julio Jones could really be the tipping point for them. And I just think, I like guys like Paris Campbell and Zach Pascal on this Colts team as your number 4 and number 5 guys, but, in the past few years when they've been the number 2 or number 3 options, Paris Campbell and Zach Pascal, that's just not fitting for them. But I think on an offense where you're starting receiving core is Julio Jones, T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman Jr., and then behind them you still have Paris Campbell and still have Zach Pascal and still have Jack Doyle. That is a pretty solid receiving core that I think the Colts should be looking for. Julio Jones, like I said, the interest might intrigue him because of the run-centric offense. It's not like Julio has to carry the team. And maybe I'm thinking wrong. Maybe Julio Jones wants to go to a team where he can be the face of the league again. He wants to prove he's top dog. Carson Wentz has the arm to do that as well. I'm just saying it has both options to be a balanced offense. And the Falcons, there's going to be some interest there because they probably don't want to trade him to an NFC team. But, of course, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's going to be who's going to have the highest bid. Colts, they're going to have to bring a decent offer, but they're already aggressive with Wentz. I say keep it going. An extra receiver could really help out this team. And another big reason, I did a Titans video on Julio Jones and possibly why they might want to look at him, and this is kind of be a similar reason. reason you want Julio Jones on the Colts is because if he doesn't go to the Colts, there's a chance he goes to the Titans. And I said the same thing about the Titans video. They want him because if he doesn't, he could go to the Colts. And you don't want your enemy or top rival to get better while you just stay the same. It's different if he stays in the NFC and stays on the Falcons. No one wins, no one loses, but you don't want to miss this offer, and then all of a sudden you don't just miss out on Julio. Your opponent just got that much better. That is a scary thought for this Colts team. And, in the AFC South, I don't want to oversimplify it and just say it's a two-man race automatically, but if Deshaun Watson's not coming back, the Texans are in free fall and going to be the worst team next year. And I like Trevor Lawrence to turn the Jaguars around, but that's going to be in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Rookie year, again, I like Trevor Lawrence, and I think he will live up to the hype, but not year one with a rookie QB. Rookie running back with Travis Etienne. I guess you got James Robinson. Rookie head coach in Urban Meyer. Whatever they're doing, Tim Tebow. They're just not going to figure it out in year one. So I do think the AFC South is a two-man race between Derrick Henry carrying the Titans and Carson Wentz turning it around with the Colts. I like this Colts team kind of even with the Titans right now, but Julio Jones can put them above the map and I think seal the division for them. Of course, nothing's going to come easy. I mean, the Colts have a tough schedule. They play the NFC West, the Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals, Rams. Those are 4 very tough games. Their 17th game this year, they kind of got gypped. I believe their 17th game was the Buccaneers. That's tough. They play the AFC East, going to have to deal with Josh Allen and the Bills, New England's defense, Dolphins' defense, and in their own division, playing Tennessee twice. They have a tough schedule, so they need some tough and really good players to be on this team. I just think Julio Jones would really up this team to the next level. Like I said, they're a dark horse Super Bowl sleeper, in my opinion, today. Even if they don't get Julio, I like them to be a great team this year, but if they get Julio, I like them to be one of the best teams this year, and that is what you want if you're the Colts. You want to be not just a guy that can maybe sneak to the Super Bowl. You want to be the guy that is dominant and favored to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying if they got Julio, they would be favored, but it would not hurt their odds in any way, in my opinion. At the bare minimum, if I'm the Indianapolis Colts, I'm making a phone call. I'm going to see, look, what is he going to cost? So I feel like that's at the bare minimum you owe to the team. I guess owe isn't the right word. You don't owe anything to anyone, but the bare minimum you should at least do when it comes to effort. See what he's going to cost. He's going to, cost a first rounder, hang up, and at least now you know. But if he's looking for those, if the Falcons are looking for those, midday draft picks on a day 2 or day 3, and they're only looking for mid-round draft picks, or 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, whatever it is, I'm making a phone call, and I'm going to try and negotiate and see what I can pull off. I just think an offense between one of the best offensive line in the NFL, one of the best backfields in the NFL, a hopefully turnaround quarterback. Obviously, if they get Julio Jones and Carson Wentz was what he was last year, it's not going to matter. But I'm betting against that, and I think Carson Wentz is seriously going to turn around his game. He's going to improve, and he's just going to bounce back tremendously, in my opinion. And you got a receiving core with Julio Jones, T.Y. Hilton, and Michael Pittman, like I said, being your starting 3 receivers with Zach Pascal, Paris Campbell, and Jack Doyle behind them. This could be a Super Bowl team. Very bold to say that, but Julio Jones is a special talent. I truly believe when he is healthy, he's still a top 5 receiver in the league. And that if you get any player at their top 5 position, doesn't matter the position, they're going to change your team for the better. I mean, Stephon Diggs, when he was on the Vikings, he wasn't top 5, but when he was traded to the Buffalo Bills, he became a top 5 receiver, and they went to the AFC Championship. A lot more played into that. Of course, they had Josh Allen, and they had a good team around Stephon Diggs, but Colts have good things around Julio Jones. And if you get a top 5 player at their position, it's going to up your team, and maybe they'll be fighting for an AFC Championship, which could get them a Super Bowl spot. But as always, guys, I do want to hear your opinions. Do you think the Colts should consider it? Should they go after Julio Jones? And if so, what is their trade value? I seriously think if they pick him up, they win the division, and they will make a deep playoff run, but we'll just have to see. A lot of good teams in the AFC, and I just don't want to see the Colts miss out on this opportunity, and then he up and goes to the Tennessee Titans, their biggest rival. But Colts, it's their call, not mine. We'll just have to see. As always, guys, and of course, thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.